Hi everyone, my name is Kira and today I'm going to be going over problem providing. So first off, what is NeurAlbertaTech? We are initially what was a student group at the University of Alberta and is now a nonprofit with student branches at the University of Alberta, Calgary, and Lethbridge. We have hundreds of engagements with post-secondary students every single year through our workshops, speaker series, and hackathon, our third annual hackathon this year, in fact, with a breadth of innovative projects. Our mission at NeurAlbertaTech is to bootstrap a globally recognized neurotechnology ecosystem stood up locally here in Alberta. And the three main ways that we facilitate that is by creating high-quality peer-to-peer learning opportunities, establishing tangible points of contact with industry and academia, and supporting innovative projects from conception to market through events like natHACKS. And so what does a problem provider do? A problem provider starts with a reverse pitch. This is where problem providers gather in a 2-hour pitch night and pitch their problem to all of the hackers for natHACKS, and then the hackers get their choices of which problems they're most interested in. They'll apply for those, and eventually you'll be assigned a team that is going to be working on your problem. That team is going to be working on your problem for about 4 weeks, 3 weeks of gearing up to the actual hackathon weekend. In those 3 weeks, problem providers would have a weekly dev report. So about a 2-hour commitment every week, where you would just go over the challenges and work through what your team has been working on. And then you end up with a functional prototype after the natHACKS weekend. So now I'm going to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty. So what is natHACKS? natHACKS is both Alberta's largest hackathon and Canada's widest neurotechnology competition. And this ends up culminating in a 64-hour hackathon weekend where hackers have about 4 days to compete for over $25,000 in prizes. Hackers are trained for 1 month. We have about 3 weeks of workshops in which we train all of our hackers in Python and software development, AI and ML, and neuroscience, so that every hacker from their different interdisciplinary fields feels competent enough to participate in the hackathon. That being said, who are problem providers? A problem provider can be a healthcare stakeholder, a researcher, an industry representative, a support provider, or a patient advocate. And these are just a couple of many. A problem provider is essentially anyone who can submit a challenge that's conducive to a neurotechnology or biosensing solution. Why become a problem provider? There's a couple of benefits to being a problem provider. The first one being, maybe you have a backburn idea that you want to get off the ground, but you don't have the bandwidth to develop it yourself. natHACKS. Maybe you're searching for technically skilled talent. We bring together over 400 of Canada's brightest minds in neurotechnology here at natHACKS. And maybe you're just curious if there could be a neurotech or biosensing solution or application to your problem. You can explore that through natHACKS. natHACKS has 3 main tracks: research, rehabilitation, and recreation. So in research, this would be where new methods to collect, visualize, and analyze biosignals are explored. So TwoSense is one of our winners from last year, and they explored EEG data used for balance. Rehabilitation is where you would leverage real-time biosignals in health and medicine. For example, Sleep Apnea Guardian, an application that used neurotechnology to better analyze whether or not somebody might have sleep apnea. Or recreation, this is where you could utilize biosignals in leisure, an example being Brain Blast, a winner from last year that developed an innovative game where 2 individuals can focus and compete in a tug-of-war style game where the one individual who focuses more can beat out the other. That being said, some of the benefits to natHACKS and being a problem provider are you get access to emerging talent and you get to explore novel ideas. So you'll be provided with a multidisciplinary team of 4 to 6 professionals who will work on your problem. You can discover potential assets through this problem providing process, and you can also have access to matched funding opportunities for your team to work on their product. Additionally, you get to explore novel ideas. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a de-risked, zero-cost environment for you to explore your idea. You get a pitching opportunity to pitch your problem to these students, as well as it's eligible for professional development hours. The commitment from you is a 4-hour period to gather your application, describe your problem generally, and participate in the pitch night. About 6 hours over the pre-hack period. This is the 3 weeks before the actual hackathon. It's about 2 hours a week that we would expect you to meet with your team in weekly dev reports and Just make sure that your team is on track to succeed at natHACKS. Over the natHACKS weekend, there's 4 days in the 64 hours, and we expect you to be generally available, meaning that if your team reaches out to you with an email or a text asking you some questions about the problem, you're available to respond to them in a relatively timely manner. So what does the schedule look like at a glance for natHACKS and the problem provider commitment? The applications will open on July 1st, and after that they will close on September 22nd, giving you about 3 months to put together an application if interested. And a couple days later, we'll let you know if you were successful and you can get started with pitch prep. Once pitch prep is done, you have until October 8th to get your pitch video recorded, which is just a short video explaining your problem. And pitch night occurs on October 14th. It's about a 2-hour commitment that day to pitch your problem to all of the hackers. After that, teams will have the choice of picking their favorite problems on October 16th, and teams will be finalized and announced to all problem providers on October 19th. From then, that's when natHACKS begins. There's about 3 hours of workshops starting from that date, and on the 26th of October and the 2nd and 9th of November is tentatively when we expect most people to do their weekly dev reports with their teams, which is about a 2-hour weekly meeting that you would have, and you can arrange that with your team for whatever format works best for you. And then November 16th to 19th is when natHACKS happens. Those 4 days or those 64 hours are when everything gets put together and the magic happens. Finally, how do you join? So all you have to do is submit your problem to our hackathon and develop it into a working solution with a group of young, hardworking individuals. Applications to become a problem provider open up on July 1st, and you can find that application on nathacks.ca.